I'm here. I can hear myself. I can hear you guys. What's going on?
What are you doing to us, Kate?
What? Damn, my audio didn't work for a minute. Give a girl a second. Gotta talk about how I love coming on here all the time and hanging out with you guys, and no, all the attitude. What's going on?
All the attitude.
Wow. So much attitude. Dudes with tudes, like the Ninja Turtles over there.
Oh, nice. All right, you redeem yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, for him maybe.
Rude.
I told Ninja Turtles.
I'm texting Matt. I'm like, if I can't make it on by 7:30, I'll make myself available after. He's like, listen, kid, we got a jam-packed show today. I don't know if we can squeeze you in maybe next month.
What?
Jeez.
I don't think I called you kid.
No, I was embellishing. I was telling a story, Matt. I was having fun over here.
Did he use the phrase greenhorn?
He did not use the phrase greenhorn, to my knowledge. I didn't double check, but...
Well, he did call you dude while you were gone, so...
He did.
That's okay. Dude is a gender-neutral term, I feel like.
This is funny. I got my own little Caitlyn right here.
No, you got a little...
Look, hi, Kate, how are you? Who's a good Kate? Who's a
the
good
only
Kate?
place?
Right down there.
Yeah. Watch what he's doing with the other hand.
Let's talk some wrestling. I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
I get a text later, dude. You gotta stop it with that.
You gotta stop, bro. It's not even funny.
Why?
It's a little funny. It's a little.
Get
funny.
me in trouble again.
That's your fault because you talk about.
I don't
things.
stop it.
Do.
God damn it!
I love cocks.
All right, now that's
See?
enough. Come on now.
See?
Fucking
What?
terrible.
Yeah.
Like what you like.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Boobies.
Some people have boobies.
Yeah.
Some people have both.
So glad I rushed to get in here. So glad.
I'm glad we had more time to prepare.
Yeah, we were stalling. We were good at it. So, Kate, if you're not familiar with Kate either, Miss Kate Fabe on
Oh, God.
Miss Kate Fall.
Miss Kate Fabe, part of the Fightful family, part of the Mark Order podcast, Sour Graps, everywhere there's a podcast, Kate is there, and she's here once a month to do Kate's Corner. WrestleMania 40, The Rock, he's still throwing up the L, he's still throwing down these stipulations, as the kids are saying. Rock and Roman against Cody and Seth. If Cody and Seth win, no bloodline allowed at the ringside night 2. If The Rock and Roman win, bloodline rules, whatever the fuck that means.
Just another word for no DQ, I think. Like they interfere whether or not there's no DQ or not. So it's an interesting thing because this is the first time I think they've taken advantage of the fact that they have 2 days of WrestleMania in the way that something that happens on night 1 impacts what happens on night 2. I don't think they've done that before. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was a much, much, much needed segment on Friday. It did not need to be 37 minutes long, but we had some good clarity about.
Sorry, what? Excuse me.
Yeah, it was 37 minutes long.
37 minutes in an hour.
37 minutes in a 2-hour show was The Rock and Roman Reigns opening the show.
Wow.
It was a
Rock, man.
It was a very long. So honestly, a lot of it was just the first 10 minutes of like Roman's entrance and then him saying nothing. But I do think that was the only way they could really engineer themselves out of what they did with Cody, where he won the Royal Rumble and then just willingly gave up his match. This leads to some more interesting possibilities. My overwhelming preference is that it's just a clean one-on-one match with no interference, but I think you'll probably see that stipulation go the other way and see the bloodline get countered by everybody that they've ever wronged, your Drew McIntyres, your Sami Zayns, those people will be coming out, I think, to counteract. I think that could also be a fun place for Tama Tonga maybe to debut. But either way, I think Cody has to freaking win. And I think if he loses, you shouldn't have put him in the spot then. Like, you should have just gone through with what you had with The Rock. But other than that, I think it's cool. It kind of sucks that the women get screwed over again for a night of WrestleMania main event or some other story doesn't get to fill that spot. Like now Cody and Roman will be main eventing both nights and Seth will be defending both nights off of an injury. So you just hope that everybody is safe enough about it night one to get to night two. But
wait, you said Seth would be defending both nights?
No,
well,
he's wrestling both nights. That's what she's
wrestling in the tag match, and then he's defending his title against Drew on night two.
Let me ask you this.
Oh,
sorry, Tony. But just because I want to get this question out before I forget. Any thoughts about them pulling another swerve and possibly having it be Rock and Roman versus Cody and Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I don't think you do that because I think if you bring Stone Cold back again, you're saving him for CM Punk next year. You could do it in the tag match here, but Seth's been so a part of the story. I actually haven't liked what they've done with Seth in the story because Seth never really lost to Roman. So the fact that he's like, man, we got to take care of your situation before I worry about my own title is something that feels off to me. And he should want another shot at Roman as well, I feel like. And it also just makes me nervous is he blew out his knee not that long ago and he's coming back really quickly. And then to work 2 nights in a row on top of that is rough, but it's a tag match and it's a vanity tag match basically. So we'll see, but I think he's going to be expected to carry some of that.
Where does it leave Seth Rollins night 2 though? I mean, he can't lose to Claymore if he loses this tag match. And then who's going to have his back? And then why would he have Cody's back if he just lost his title?
They set up this piece of it on Raw that I did not like because I feel like the World Heavyweight title just feels really buried at this point. It's been so much about Roman and his title that Seth was like, before we can even worry about the World Heavyweight title, we have to take out the bloodline because if we don't, they'll be coming for my title and then none of us will have a shot, which just makes it feel kind of like chump change to everybody else on Raw. And also like, wouldn't the bloodline be coming for your title? That would be a more likely scenario if they lost the World Heavyweight title. Like they'd have an impetus to come after your title then. Or if they lost the world title, rather, to come after the heavyweight title on Raw. So I don't like it. I think it really cheapens a lot of the work that Seth has done. But I think they might be teasing like a Seth Rollins, The Rock match in Saudi Arabia possibly out of this. I think you'll see that interaction get set up. But I do think he probably loses to Drew, and I wouldn't be surprised if that turned into a triple threat with Sami Zayn. And that's kind of what the handoff is. Drew's also in a contract year and has not re-signed.
Yeah, but he's doing some of the best work ever.
The best work. But that's
Sami Zayn gets shoehorned into this somehow, into the main event?
They've been sowing the seeds of them hating each other for so long, but Drew doing just this incredible work of being a relatable heel. So I don't know where you put Sami Zayn other than that. But that also might be like multi-man madness a little bit too much. You have the tag match. You'd have a triple threat there. But I don't know what you do with Sami Zayn outside of that unless you put him in a ladder match for Gunther's title or something like that. But the story's certainly there. If not a triple threat, I think Sami's probably your first challenger for that belt.
Yeah, that'll agree with. Like after Drew comes out with the belt, 100%, Sami goes after Drew. Yes, I'm on board for. Yeah.
I kind of want to see the world burn. I'd like to see Cody Rhodes win and then watch Damian Priest cash in on Cody Rhodes directly thereafter. I would be there for the madness. It would be so many people would be pissing and moaning. It'd be hilarious.
It feels to me like that has entirely been a device for we're going to have him cash in and lose when we want to break up the Judgment Day, whatever that is. Like that is felt like the case. I don't like that for Damian Priest. I'm sick of people cashing in and losing. It used to be a novelty. Now it happens all the time. Money in the Bank to me was dead last year when they had Austin Theory cash in during an open challenge on a lower title. That felt really, really dumb to me. So I feel like it was a huge misuse of the briefcase once again. I think they probably should have just put it on LA Knight, had him cash in and lose on Roman. If you're going to have people cash in and lose all the time, LA Knight would have been hilarious with that thing, walking around with the briefcase. Break up the Judgment Day a different way, in my opinion.
So Kate, you mentioned Drew McIntyre's he signed the extension to get through whenever he has to get through. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think they keep Damian Priest waiting in the wings in case Drew doesn't resign? You have Drew win, and then maybe a couple weeks later or whenever that Money in the Bank pay-per-view is, because I think that's when you have till to do it, to cash in. It's a year from when you get it. Do you think maybe Drew beats Seth, gives Seth time off, and then maybe the next night or a couple weeks, if Drew is not going to sign, you have Damian Priest beat Drew for that belt?
I think you would probably, I don't know what you do in that situation. I do think Drew is going to resign. I think if it doesn't feel like there's an intent for Drew to resign, you just don't strap him up. Like, I think that's probably the best way. I don't think they're on such bad terms that Drew wouldn't do business on the way out. He'd probably at least work until CM Punk comes back, because he's been trolling that guy for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So I think you can probably at least get him till, I'm guessing that's like a Survivor Series-ish returns. It sounds like later than SummerSlam for Punk. So I think you can at least have it done right on the way out if Drew's going to leave, but I don't think he's going anywhere. He's finally pushed as a top guy in a proper way, which should just give him the money to back it up, because he's been my favorite part of WWE, like in general right now for a little bit. I think it's the best character they have.
Asian Joe, why is Kate's Corner when she's in the center? Fair
right
question.
I mean, I am little Kate's.
She's right here.
Marking out, Bailey and Io is a bigger story than Rock, Roman versus
Oh,
Cody.
come on.
Get out of
God,
here.
you got out of your fucking balls, dude.
It's not a bigger story. It's a better told story. I'll give you that, like 100%. And I'm the best story should main event person. So I would love to see Bailey and Io. It's definitely not a bigger one.
Marking out also said they teased Sammy and the IC title, which I think we could see Gunther, Sammy, Reed, and Gable in a four-way
Please
dance.
no multi-mans with Gunther anymore. Let the guy have a regular one-on-one match. Come on, people.
Yeah.
The thing, they also teased Priest and Gunther too on Raw. They had a nice little stare down segment. So who knows? Like it literally can go any which way, Kate, here.
Yeah, I don't want them to do the multi-man ladder match thing for Gunther. That just doesn't feel like him. Kind of feels like Logan Paul if you wanted to do something there, but that seems to be more and more clearly becoming a triple threat with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul, unless they want to turn it into something bigger. I feel like at this point, Gunther versus Chad Gable is probably the story to go with, but there's a lot of seeds that he's sown over this reign that are great options. Taking it off of Ricochet to start. If Big E could come back, that would be the dream, but I don't think we're there yet. If Sheamus is cleared and still under contract, I think that would be the ultimate way to go. But from a story perspective that they told, and it kind of feels like they're heating Chad Gable up for that, I think just have your David and Goliath story, have his daughter who was crying in the front row the second time they did that match, get her moment, and make Chad Gable like a serious contender again, because he felt so important, and then he was a goofy comedy guy again, and then just lost in the shuffle. So it feels very intentional that they're suddenly heating him back up in these 4 or 5 weeks.
Before we wrap up with you, Kate, because we are short on time.
Yes, I know. I was tardy.
It's okay. You're fine. Look, these things have technology is a son of a bitch, okay? I'm sure this doesn't happen on the Fightful programs.
Oh, it does. It happens all the time.
They announced this morning the first entrant into the class of 2024 Hall of Fame, Paul Heyman. Thoughts, Kate?
Yes. Doing it in Philly is perfect, right? Like Paul Heyman going in Philadelphia is the absolute right call. They should induct Bray Wyatt this year. So I hope that is the second person. I would have hoped he'd been the first person, but I get with the Philadelphia connection that you want to have Paul Heyman there. I think it's a blast of a choice. And I think it's kind of fun because I think you'll see him get inducted, and then I think the bloodline probably falls apart. My guess is he pivots his attention to Braun Breaker. That guy desperately needs a mouthpiece, but he's great otherwise. Like you have a top star on your hands if you built him the right way. So I think you're going to see him get inducted, lose everything, and then probably in a couple months or maybe a couple weeks, take Braun Breaker on as his next project.
Couldn't disagree more with that game plan.
Why not?
Why?
You see what happened when they took Paul Heyman out of his comfort zone and put him with guys like Ryback and with Curtis Axel and tried to elevate those guys that needed a mouthpiece? It was brutal.
Yeah, but he was also doing, like, that wasn't his only thing.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think you're going to compare Braun Breaker to, no offense, Curtis Axel and fucking what's his nuts.
I mean, I think you compare him to Ryback.
Paul Heyman had
No,
really
come on, man.
definitely not Ryback.
Braun Breaker's a
You
fucking
can't compare him to
machine.
Ryback and how over Ryback was? I don't like Ryback, but he was over as a motherfucker.
No, he was.
Braun can work. Braun can really work. I've been watching him in NXT.
Yeah, Braun's on a
for
fucking.
while,
Braun's on a completely another level right now.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. Like, here's why. I don't see that working because it almost seems like you're doing it because Braun needs it. Whereas putting Paul with, like, I think it'll be too transparent. Like, we're putting Paul with Braun Breaker because Braun needs it. Whereas him being with Roman Reigns and guys like Brock and CM Punk don't need it, but he just adds the garnish to what they are. To me, it would be way too transparent putting him with Braun because it'll just be like, I mean, granted, this is very early. We don't even know if this is even going to be a thing. But, like, eventually down the road, if it makes sense storyline-wise to put him there, then yeah. Shotgunning it right now, to me, just is a terrible, terrible idea.
Paul might just call it a career.
Yeah.
He could. I think with Breaker, they're in a desperate need to make a star out of someone who is younger than 38 years old. Their entire top of the card is 38 years old and up, including Cody, including Seth, including Drew, like everybody that is finally breaking through because they finally have some organically over baby faces and some good heels in the mix is older. So I think you want to start thinking about things like that and making stars of the future. If I compare Paul Heyman with anybody in this world, Julius Creed is sitting right there. And I love the Creed brothers as a tag team. I'm telling you, after watching NXT, Julius Creed is the future. That guy moves like early Shelton Benjamin, early Brock Lesnar. He's the dude that should be with Paul Heyman so much to me.
Yeah, I know. I've said it since day one. That dude's a star.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what that guy can do. And they kind of just got shoved off to the side too. So I hope they get worked back into the picture soon because that guy's a freak athlete.
HK, you seem like you're a little
pensive.
What?
You seem like you have something to say, buddy.
No, I was just thinking. I was looking at the chat here, and Al said to bring back Uncle Scotty as the mouthpiece because it would be I guess a fire emoji.
That's a fire. Yeah, fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Kids say.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm not reading that way. Fucking grow up, Tropic Al. But I don't know. I don't think I'm in for Scott Steiner as a manager.
There's no way he was serious about that.
No, I don't think so. And then my main man Matty B said that he doesn't even need a manager, doesn't need a mouthpiece, and he does have the charisma. So I'm kind of more leaning towards what MB's saying.
He was pretty insufferable. This is the problem because a lot of the NX2 writing is just really, really bad. Like even if you like their Wild West approach, the backstages are just like after school program bad. So I feel like it's hard to kind of judge people off of them. Tiffany Stratton being the only one that like I feel like has gotten called up that was really succeeding at that aspect of it. Since they turned Braun heel and now he's kind of in this tweener tag team with Baron Corbin, it's worked a lot better. And I think it works better for his moveset too. He's so explosive. He has more than the spear, but the spear is the best in wrestling. So I think the more grounded promos have been working for him. I don't think he's as desperate in need of a manager as he probably was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But the more grounded promos, there are people I know, I think Sean has told this, so I could say it, but like he just wouldn't release his Braun Breaker interview because the guy just doesn't like it was an insufferable interview, and I know other people that have been that way. So
Braun's a tweener on NXT. He's clearly a babyface on SmackDown with his debut.
Yeah, so he was kind of a hardened heel, and then for the Dusty Classic, Baron Corbin and him kind of picked up as a tag team, and they've had a little bit of like a buddy cop relationship that's been very fun. So they're booked heel, but their relationship is very playful, and it's the most natural Braun has ever sounded. I wouldn't be shocked if they called Baron Corbin up with him because they're the NXT tag champs right now. So they either got to drop it, stand and deliver, and send Braun up separate, or they were really fun. Braun Breaker as a hot tag is a blast because of the way he moves. So there's a lot of fun things you can do. But I know you guys have bigger and better people waiting in the wings for me.
No. Don't. Look, everyone is great across the board. Kate, you're here every month. You're an important part of the Shining Wizards empire. That's right. I called it a fucking empire, people.
The Shining Wizards bloodline. I love it.
Yeah, I can't. No, I can't.
Head of the table.
We can't do the bloodline. Double L's, bitches.
I don't even mean that in a disparaging way. Heidi just rules, so have a bunch of fun with her. She's great.
Oh, we're gonna ask her where she trained. We're gonna ask her who her influences are. We're gonna go back 12 years and ask all the noob questions, so she never does.
How did you get into
interview
wrestling?
again.
Did
Yes.
you watch it as a kid?
Yes.
Ooh, this is my favorite one. What do you like to do outside of wrestling, huh? What restaurants do you like? Huh?
Were you a Sting fan?
She hasn't even made it onto the screen yet. She's already my favorite guest.
Any Sting memories you want?
Any Sting memories for you?
You ever been stung by a bee?
Hey, we'll have so much fun with her, and definitely ask her about who her influences are for sure. So.
As soon as
wanna
we're
know
done
now.
talking about Rocky Mountain wrestling, like did you ever come in contact with pee smelling Vader, like that phase of Vader? Cat piss Vader, as I like to call him.
Dun, 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 dun.
Meow, 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 meow,
Oh,
meow.
all right.
Kate, you're fantastic. At Miss Kate Fabe on Twitter. Every Tuesday night, Sour Graps on Fightful. Wednesday night, Mark Order Podcast. Ring of Honor on Fightful. Thursdays, Friday, Smackdown, Rampage post show. If there's a show on Saturday, Kate's doing it. It's all in here, Kate. It's like a steel trap.
Better than me. You remember better than I do. So
Kate even came by for the pay-per-view last night, but a true professional. She left at the beginning of the three-way dance so she could get home for the tag team main event, and then she did a post show.
I did till 3:30 in the morning. And then I filled in this morning on In the Weeds, so I am exhausted, but we're out.
All right, well, go get some rest, Kate, and we will
so.
talk to you. April 1st will be the next time you join us.
Hell yeah.
Kate's
That
Corner
birthday, Kate.
and Misa Kate on the show. What?
Double Kates. I love it. All right.
Double K, goddamn.
Have fun with your generic interview. I'll be listening.